not the affluent community that most people think of when they hear the Hamptons.
John Bon Jovi and Paul McCartney roam freely among us.
Barack Obama, Mr. Trump was in town.
There was a witchcraft case in East Hampton in 1657.
Money is power. Gucci doing a collab with somebody who makes ice cream.
People don't understand that there is poverty in the Hamptons.
We used to do real witch hunts.
Yeah.
When we were country.
Yeah.
The Hamptons, the far-reaching tip of Long Island where New York's business elite and the world's celebrity overlords escape to rub moisturized elbows in idyllic beach towns and gargantuan backyards. The kind of place where you could find Justin Timberlake drunk driving from a Paul McCartney concert to a Diddy party, all before 5 p.m. But my sources tell me that beneath this moneyed paradise, the area is facing a housing and affordability crisis.
The cost of living is getting nearly impossible.
The level of rich is gone through the sky.
$400 melons, a vending machine for caviar.
It seemed clear that the Hamptons were Hamptoning too hard, even for the Hamptons, spurring questions like, who can actually afford this? And is anyone doing anything about it? These are daunting queries, but when I get whiffs of a story that's occurring close to where I live in a beautiful locale, I will drop everything to get to the scene. So get in, bitches. We're going to the Hamptons. Before this collection of Long Island towns that the guy getting hammered before pickleball calls their happy place became the glitzy Hamptons we know today, this was just a quiet, rural strip of land. It was settled in the 1600s by English folk who made friends with the Shinnecock and Montauk people by promising them that their names would one day be on bars and golf courses. A couple of centuries later, it became an artist settlement, with American Impressionists arriving in the 19th century and pop artists coming in the 1960s. But its deadly combination of bucolic beaches and close proximity to the world's capital of capitalism meant that it couldn't stay a hippie secret forever, which is how we got to today, where the Hamptons are a summertime epicenter for expensive bar food, private chef influencers, John Hamm sightings, and circle driveways of imported gravel. To learn more about what to expect from a wealthy beach community in 2025, I hit up Dionne Searcey, a veteran journalist for the New York Times who currently covers wealth and power. What are the Hamptons?
Well, I like to call it Planet Hamptons. It's just a place where a collection of some of the world's wealthiest people, not just New York's wealthiest, but the world's wealthiest people hang out in the summer. It reminds me kind of when those cruise ships dock and people pour off, but all these people are like wearing all white and or have really toned, shoulders and abs and that kind of thing. It's sort of the epicenter of where everything happens. There are political fundraisers, there are galas, there are just cocktail parties. A lot of young people go out there. It really feels like a pilgrimage of, the wealthy that go out there.
In the Hamptons, do they pronounce it gala or gala?
They say gala.
They say gala.
Yeah.
Okay. And with that, I had everything I needed to know. So I set off for the Hamptons. And was then immediately hit with bumper-to-bumper traffic. I should have anticipated this. The traffic is a common Hamptonian complaint, as I've heard from the Real Housewives of New York's Bethany Frankel.
I'm the one who is glued to the Hamptons, and you can't drag me out. This summer, all the videos people are posting about the Hamptons being off, the traffic is suffocating.
Huh. Preach, Queen. And while I can confirm that the traffic does actually blow, I did eventually make it to the land of abundance, where I immediately went for a stroll on the beach with Vanity Fair and New York Magazine contributor Stephanie Krikorian.
That was my big story for Vanity Fair that got picked up. Rich people of the Hamptons have a new headache, even richer people. You can buy trees for $150,000 to $200,000 per tree. It's 50% of that to plant that tree. So you're looking at $250,000 for a tree.
A money tree of sorts.
It is essentially a money tree, but the reverse.
But is that a new thing? Or has that always been the case in the Hamptons, where you're like, look, yeah, of course we got rich people, and then we have like royalty?
The level of rich is gone through the sky.
The roof?
Yeah, there's just nowhere to go. There's nowhere for people to live.
Stephanie made it clear, outside of the ritziest folks in town, people were struggling to keep their head above water. I simply had to burrow deeper into the community's business circles. And folks, you burrow deep enough, you're gonna find a guy like Gavin, the chair of the East Hampton Chamber of Commerce and co-publisher of many local newspapers.
We don't throw around the word crisis or disaster lightly, but that's exactly what it is. I think that the crowds here this summer, we have a joke that we say it gets worse every year, but It actually does. And I think that
Are you referring to us visiting?
partially, yes. There's always been sort of a tension that our population booms like it does, and there's so many people here and our roads are overcrowded, and at the same time, it's what supports our economy. So, you know, a business owner might say, boy, the roads are busy, but so is my restaurant, or so is my store, or so is my business. So the tension has always existed. I think that it's gotten worse over the last decade or so because of that cost of living is making it that local people feel they can't stay here any longer.
I got one question for you. You want to live your whole life naked? Well, if that answer is no, then you should consider investing in Surfshark VPN. That's right. I ensnared you into viewing an advertisement by asking you if you want to get naked. It's called being a goddamn professional. Get used to it. Here's the deal. We basically all live online at this point. I know I do. But most of us are living our lives online totally vulnerable, exposed, naked, without a Surfshark VPN. Without a Surfshark VPN. Using a Surfshark VPN to surf the web is like wearing clothes for when you go outside. As soon as your device connects to the internet, all your information is encrypted, ensuring that snoopers and hackers can't see your personal information. Furthermore, Surfshark VPN makes it so that you can watch whatever you want, wherever you want, without worrying about country restrictions, annoying ad pop-ups, or censorship. Whatever you want, wherever you want, without worrying. Right now, Good Work viewers have an exclusive offer of 4 extra months if you sign up through the link in the description. Or just go ahead and navigate to surfshark.com/goodwork and you'll get 4 extra months of fully clothed internet navigation. And if you don't like it after 30 days, you'll get your money back. Guaranteed. But surely this is just how resort communities like the Hamptons have always worked, right? Rich out-of-towners come and disrupt local life. That's certainly what I like to do when I go on vacation. So I took my kids to the East Hampton Historical Society for some context, left them in a hot car, and did an interview.
People were coming in here before the Civil War, but what happened? Wall Street. When Wall Street blew up, that, I think, has accelerated the pace of development out here.
Hugh King is the official town crier of East Hampton, a former teacher, and a lifetime resident of the area. He says that the affordability problems out here are only going to get worse.
The pandemic, accelerated some of these people leaving the city and then getting a house out here instead of renting, buying. And of course, they could afford the extremely high prices.
In 2019, the median price for a Hamptons home came in at around $960,000. After the pandemic, it was $1.3 million, and today it's over $1.9 million. And it wasn't always this hard to get housing here.
I was getting a haircut in Augie's Barbershop on Newtown Lane, okay? Guess what happened? I bought a building lot in Springs for $2,500. And I had to pay him $50 a month. And that's how I got my first house. We need apartments here, and we're not going to get them. It's too late. That ship has sailed.
Why has it sailed? I mean, is that just because of zoning laws? Or?
Yeah. Zoning laws. There's no land left. If you look in the stores, you go all around. What's the one sign you see? Help wanted. Help wanted. We're going to be losing doctors, I think, out here. Most of the school teachers don't live in Navigant where they teach, or East Hampton where they teach, or Springs. They live up the island. So that means they don't have a connection to the community.
And it isn't just teachers and emergency workers who are being priced out of the Hamptons. It's the folks in the working class that make a resort community function.
Landscaping, construction, pool maintenance, tennis court maintenance, and so forth.
Marit Molin is the founder of Hamptons Community Outreach, a nonprofit fighting poverty in the Hamptons.
A lot of the people that we work with, what we see is that many of them do landscaping from May to October, and then October comes, they get laid off, and then because they no longer have a paycheck, they move into the woods. And then they struggle to survive from October to about April or May when they get hired again. You see sleeping bags, some have mattresses, and then there are tarps above these mattresses or sleeping bags. And then typically you will see some food, like laying around. Sometimes they've created a little makeshift kitchen with like a piece of wood, something like that. But they're very, very simple.
Marit told us there are dozens of workers in the Hamptons living in these conditions. As the day went on, I drove past lush fields and farms when I had the same thought I always do while discovering beautiful open space. That land seems developable.
The town did a housing plan over 20 years ago and said by now we should have over 3,000 to 5,000 units of housing. How many have we built? Well, 266, and I built them.
Curtis Highsmith Jr. is the executive director of the Southampton Housing Authority, an organization that builds affordable housing in the Hamptons. The affordable housing he builds is affordable by Hampton standards. Curtis's goal is to bring in middle-class folks that earn 60 to 80% of the area's median income and play important roles in the community like EMT or teacher, and not just kinda knows Bon Jovi's son's friend. He showed us around a few areas, one of which was Sandy Hollow, a 28-unit complex he built in Southampton, but not without opposition.
I've had people come to my house while I was cutting the grass, yell out the window, "How dare you ruin my community by building the slums?" When the project was approved, the local community, led by the neighbor, sued us. Basically, they didn't feel the zoning should have gone through. At present, we are in contract with the neighbor who now loves this project so much and is holding out for us for zoning that we're going to have phase 2 of Sandy Hollow next door.
Zoning. The key to any respectable town. You know, we used to zone in my neighborhood back in the day. Long summer days where me and my friends would just take out a map, zone up the neighborhood a little bit, apply various laws to keep out certain... Anyway, every building in the Hamptons is expected to fit the beach community's aesthetic character. If it doesn't, the project can be blocked. That's called zone defense. In order to appease the community, Curtis's buildings are made to look like typical Hamptons homes, because nobody is exempt from the all-seeing Hamptons zoning boards. Billionaire investor Carl Icahn was knocked for an unpermitted gazebo in his yard that he said he needed to protect him from wasps when he was eating his breakfast. Robert Kraft has been battling the town of Southampton over a $2 million elevator, and current Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick had to fight to build a barn that he said was going to be for an apple orchard, but others suspected was going to be used as a garage for his classic cars. And while Southampton has made a more concerted push to fund affordable housing since 2022, land is hard to come by, and much of it has been bought and preserved from building by the town.
It was given to us by the county of Suffolk. They appraised for $1.4 million. We sold them for $300,000 each, and we got a $50,000 down payment assistance. The individuals that were selected for each one of these homes was a teller, local teller at the one of the local banks. This here is a EMT medical professional, longtime Southampton person, went to Southampton school, and the person over here is a school teacher at the Southampton school. And also in the summertime when they're off, they're beach attendant for Cooper's Beach, which is, by the way, the number 1 beach in the world right now.
The number one?
The number 1.
According to who?
According to the world. And so...
A little defensive on the beach fact check, huh, Curtis? I mean, sure, he's doing solid work for his community on the housing front, but why try so hard to stop an investigative hound like me from seeing if Cooper's Beach was really the number 1 beach in the world?
Cooper's Beach, which is, by the way, the number 1 beach in the world right now.
The number 1?
The number 1.
According to who?
According to the world.
According to the world. According to the world.
Then it hit me. That was the one thing I kept noticing about these goddamn locals I spoke to. No matter how much people like me were coming in and adding to the traffic, buying up the real estate, and driving up the price of melons, they still loved their community.
We love living here. It's an absolutely beautiful, spectacular place. Many of us don't think that the place is ruined or overrun or anything along those lines. But the challenges are real. We love that people come and visit us. We need people to come here. But there's challenges, and you got to be respectful of that.
No matter what your day is like, no matter what you've been through, you can go down to that ocean and walk along that water. My parents used to drive down to the ocean and navigate it every night and just look at it and make sure it was still there. I mean, look what we're doing. We're trying to keep history alive and trying to remember the past.
But if I was going to get a real sense of how locals felt about the John Hamptons, I had to go to the one place all unfiltered opinions come from: the youth.
People will talk about how bad it is with all these people coming out, but I love it. I bring so much excitement out here, and it gives opportunity for the newspaper.
Billy and Harry are a couple of high schoolers that started the Ditch Weekly, a local newspaper in Montauk written by local kids.
I walk on the beach and I see everyone just on their phones. Everyone's coming out here spending so much money to be in the Hamptons. This is where everyone wants to be, and no one's looking up. This is something that brings the community together, it gets kids going.
All right, Billy, well, thank you so much for showing us around. You got any other plans today?
How about you help us with our paper route?
Sure, why not? Let's do it. Just like that, I found myself at the behest of a teenage boy, doing his paper route and running up and down various driveways of local Hamptonites. And it was during our little tour handing out the ditch that I realized this was really the summer that changed everything. Billy went on to become editor of the New York Times. He runs the Gray Lady now with an iron fucking fist. Hugh is still at the Historical Society, bragging to tourists about how cheap that house he bought was. Gavin saw Sylvester Stallone at J. Crew last week. He didn't say anything because he knows how to be cool in that situation. The Hamptons have become legally zoned as a foreign nation, ruled by Bethany Frankel, in which it is illegal to be anything other than a billionaire. All their landscapers are Tesla robots, their number one export is brand activations, and they have recently waged bloody war on Key Biscayne. Harry went on to become a professional surfer. And me? Well, for good work, I'm Dan Toomey.
Would you guys ever start a Ditch Weekly YouTube channel?
It's possible. I just feel like
Please
YouTube's
don't.
Like,
You'll bury us.
Yeah, I feel like YouTube's like honestly a little bit outdated. Like everyone's like not to hit on you guys, but like it's like everyone's like on short-term media now. It's like yeah, that's why I started an Instagram. But
All right.
No,